Hello. So the reason why I'm recording this video today is to address some housekeeping issues in relation to finishing off the semester, and I would also like to address a couple of issues that I see happening in your thesis supporting papers, and also give you some tools to help you revise those papers before you turn them in next week. So the first thing that I want to talk about is a deadline change that I am making for the thesis supporting paper. The thesis supporting paper on the assignment sheet says that it's due June 23rd. I'm extending that deadline to June 25th. I want to give you a little bit more time to address my comments, and along with finishing off discussion board number 4 and getting as much feedback as possible, whether that be from family or friends or from the RIT Center at Delta College. So as a reminder, and I'll make a change on that in the assignment sheet, and I'll post that as an announcement, that the final assignment, the thesis supporting paper, is due June 25th by 11:59 p.m., not June 23rd. And just like the annotated bibliography, your thesis supporting paper needs to be uploaded to the Dropbox on eLearning in the thesis supporting paper folder. Now, let's talk a little bit about the thesis supporting paper. One of the major issues that I saw standing out in everyone's paper is the challenge of clarifying your thesis statement. One of the things that I want to touch on this video is I want to help us think about narrowing our thesis statement. So one of the things that you want to avoid doing, that I see happening in everyone's paper, is that you are not trying to solve the overall issue of the topic. You are not the authority of that topic. So say, for instance, you are doing a paper on gun control. You aren't supposed to, or it's not helpful for you to structure your thesis along the lines of, should the U.S. have gun control or should the U.S. not have gun control? You aren't necessarily a policymaker, even though you have power in your voting voice. You are not a policymaker to make that decision. Rather, you are a student who has done research on gun control for the past 3 to 4 weeks, and you can develop your thesis statement around the research that you have developed. That's why I'm asking you all to answer specific questions on your feedback to help you narrow your thesis statement. So this is why you want to think about your thesis statement as more of an analysis of the things that you have read. What is the observation that you're pulling from the research that you've done over the course of the semester? Rather than saying we shouldn't or shouldn't have gun control, what can we learn about the debates on particular gun control issues? What can we learn about the current discussions on a topic like violence in the media? What can we learn about a particular policy or the discussion around a policy? What can we learn about the discussion around a particular document or documentary related to your topic? So rather than you coming up or trying to prove the efficacy of something, or you saying that we should or shouldn't do something, focus on creating an observation from the research that you've done in your annotated bibliography so that you can narrow in your thesis a bit more. Another important thing that I want you to think about, and I put this in everyone's feedback, is the link to the reverse outline. The reverse outline is a really important it's an important strategy that you can use to make sure that each of your paragraphs are supporting your thesis statement. One of the main things that I'm going to be looking at when I give you grades for your thesis supporting paper is how well you are supporting your thesis statement. Remember, this paper is not a paper about you regurgitating information on a topic. This paper is about you creating an observation from the research that you've developed in your annotated bibliography and connecting your examples for your reader that support your thesis statement. So the thesis statement is crucial. And the thesis statement should also be one of the most simplistic sentences in your paper. And then you unravel and elaborate on that thesis statement in your body, again, reminding your reader how your information supports your thesis statement. Now, I'm fully aware that doing that is going to make it feel like you are repeating your point. But this is one of the things that happens in academic writing, is that writers repeat their point, but they also add new dimensions to their point based off of the information that they're providing. So if you have example 1, example 2, example 3, yes, example 3 is going to restate the things that you said in example 2, but you've added new information from your research to help add a new dimension to your thesis statement. So don't feel so limited if you feel like you're repeating yourself. Use that information, or your objective is to synthesize the information that you've analyzed and point those connections out for your reader. So you're explaining a lot of your explanation. Make sure that you go through the writing the thesis supporting paper link on e-learning. Those links are crucial. A couple of other issues that I see standing out in the papers are the lack of attributive tags and clear transitions. Remember, when you review the link on attributive tags make a clear distinction between your ideas and the writer's ideas. It is crucial that you are able to say, John Doe, the author of this article states da, 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 da. And then after you've illustrated that, you need to respond to that information. Again, how does that information connect to your main thesis statement? This is all about you supporting your thesis, so you need to use the research information to help back up your point. And they talk about the difference, and this is discussed in the difference between analysis and synthesis in the writing the thesis supporting paper on e-learning. Whereas in analysis, you're breaking down the information like you've done in your annotated bibliography. Whereas in the synthesis, you are providing those connections for your reader, and you're explaining to your reader how that information connects. So when you go back and you look at attributive tags, you'll see how important attributive tags will be, because this is where you are distinguishing between your ideas and the author's ideas. Another important link to think about, every single link is important in the writing the thesis supporting paper tab on e-learning, but another one that I see happening in the rough drafts that I was commenting on would be the transitions. Make sure that you review the transition worksheet, writing transitions, along with paragraph unity and coherence. These links will talk about how to make sure that you are adding or making sure that your sentences are connecting, your paragraphs are connecting, and all of those things are unified around a larger thesis statement. It is important that you hold your reader's hand along the way. This is why it's going to feel like with academic writing that you're repeating yourself, because you're going to find yourself reminding your reader about the connections that you're making. Your reader is not in your head, and so it's up to you to help illuminate these connections that you're making, because again, it's not our purpose to regurgitate information or to let our reader know that we've read these articles, but rather we're synthesizing this information, which means that we're reorganizing this information to help support our main point. So the most important sentence in your paper should be the thesis statement. If you can't identify the thesis statement, then you need to go back and revise. And you need to make sure that you are using the information to support your thesis statement. So when I look at your thesis supporting paper, the first thing I'm going to look for is your thesis statement. The second thing that I'm going to look for is to see how clear and concise and to the point your thesis statement is. And then I'm going to go through and look at your paper in your body to see the examples that you're using to support your thesis statement, along with how you're explaining to your reader how those connections support it. All right. So keep those things in mind. Make sure that you review the links on e-learning with the thesis supporting paper. And please, please, please feel free to ask me any questions around anything that may be confusing or anything that you might not understand. This goes along with the reverse outline link that I included in everyone's feedback. So make sure that you review the reverse outline link. The reverse outline link is important so that it'll help you organize your paper so that you can, once you've written a draft, you can ask yourself, how does this paragraph connect to my thesis statement? This link also describes ways that you can check your paragraphs for the purpose. So what's the purpose of this paragraph? A lot of times we write paragraphs in our papers to take up space. So what this link does on reverse outlining is that it makes us accountable for the things that we're saying, and it also makes us accountable to our thesis statement, which is, again, the most important statement in your essay. So if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. As a reminder, the thesis supporting paper is due on June 25th, not June 23rd. Make sure that you complete the discussion board number 4. Make sure that you get feedback on your paper, not just feedback from me, but feedback from your peers. You can also go to the RIT Center, and you can also have people around you, such as loved ones or family members, answer those questions that I provided for you on your discussion board post number 4. Once you get that feedback, make sure that you do a reverse outline to help you make connections and to clarify the examples that you provide, make connections between your paragraphs and your sentences, along with keeping aligned with those with attributive tags and clear citations, along with clear transitions. Again, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Other than that, good luck with doing your final revision for this final paper. It's been a pleasure teaching every one of you over the course of this semester. Within the next week, I will be in contact with everyone to let you know when grades will be posted, and I will also be sending a feedback form for the course. So in the meantime, happy reading, happy writing, and I will see you in cyberspace.